You may come to a meditation posture and you may close your eyes and welcome anything that you are feeling in your body and mind, in your spirit. The goal is to make yourself feel comfortable in however you have been feeling this afternoon. You can learn the pressure points in your body, sometimes your shoulders, upper back, lower back, your feet, and notice any heaviness. And if it is heavy, please put that down. And one way to put things down is to come to awareness of breathing and breathing in, breathing out as we go. Dropping your shoulders completely. There's no rush to be anywhere, to be this way or be that way. If the goal is to completely relax this body as if you are trying to sleep, but awake and aware. You may notice also the back of your head and the muscles there. You can quickly relax the muscles behind. You can relax the facial muscles, relax your neck, and you may visit your eyes. And there are these muscles in your eye sockets that you can relax. Releasing any tension, any tightness in your ears. Just imagine your spine being a straight line, connecting with your neck, shoulders, upper, middle, and lower back. And all that weight of your upper body centered to your sitting posture. However you are seated, you notice the weight of your body evenly spread. If you have to itch or move any part of your body, feel free to do so. Your mind is occupied with any anxiety producing thoughts. Welcome them, allow them to be there. We make the wholesome right effort, discriminating thoughts from the unwholesome, to identifying what is wholesome and cultivating the wholesome thoughts. Applying mindfulness to your breath is one way to cultivate wholesome thoughts in all of your being. Adjusting your posture and relaxing this moment is also another way to cultivate loving and kind thoughts toward your body, your inner self. So both loving kindness and mindfulness combined, and the effort to remain mindful and with a heart imbued with loving kindness may do some positive whatever it does in our being. If you still have to change your posture like me, feel free to do so. In anything we do, we can apply mindfulness. We can apply loving kindness, some sense of gratitude and care as well to our bodies, to our inner self. You can spend some time learning what is so prominent in your current mental space, what your mind inclines to teach you so much of. What is actually happening right now? Welcome that moment, that feeling, that thought. Make friends with that moment, embracing it fully and letting it be. You can begin programming your mindfulness, like pre-programming, telling that every time you feel distracted, may my mind choose mindfulness and specially choose right mindfulness. You can tell your mind that you are revisiting your breath, mindfully breathing in, mindfully breathing out with your whole body, completely relaxing this body, shoulders, abdomen, upper body, and lower body. As you breathe in and breathing out, completely surrender to that moment, to this experience of breathing in and breathing out. Slowly but steadily, you are here. Wherever you feel your breath, there you are. You may expand your awareness, throwing away any frames of references through sense faculties to unbinding awareness, which seems impossible to do, but with the understanding that it can eventually happen as we throw away seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. We are just letting things pass through our awareness, allowing it to expand into the silence, to nothingness, to the space, to the light. To a place beyond words, beyond thoughts. You may come back to your eyes, to your breath, to your upper body, lower body, spine, and all those places again. Revisit them again with a heart full of gratitude and loving kindness, embracing their present nature and being. Dropping your shoulders and putting them at ease, you may completely relax and let go of any tension, any tightness there, and slowly come out of this meditation as you hear the sound of the meditation bell. Okay, so since we have a very little short time, I thought in this recorded speech, I thought I should talk about something I have been thinking lately
Okay.
that is important to all of us. That sometimes we don't remember things. And what did the Buddha say about memory?
Hmm.
And some people use a technique called rewinding. That means when they go to bed, they try to gradually revisit the things they did. I walked to a certain place, and then before that I ate, and before that I met this person, before that I went to that theater, so and so. So this is called rewinding, um, and that has helped some actors to memorize
Oh,
their,
interesting.
their life without
Hmm.
having to get help. And this is something that I have learned from a Sri Lankan actor who was speaking about this experience. I've never done it. I mean, of course, when in Buddhism, when we talk about visiting past lives, some teachers say that, try to remember what you did 10 years ago, try to remember what you did 20 years ago, and, try to remember things you did, when you were a very small child.
Mhm.
And see when you are so relaxed. Um, Relaxed means accessing some deeper mental jhanas. These are jhanas that you access through stilling your sense faculties and letting your mind access some levels of deeper
Ah.
stillness. And there you start to remember um, things that that you didn't know that you are able to remember. So this Brahmin student approached Buddha, and I know he said he can't remember things that he tried to memorize. And the Buddha said, mind is often occupied by sensual lust, and mind can be occupied by anger, mind can be occupied by anxiety, mind can be occupied by doubt, suspicion, and mind can be occupied by sloth and torpor. And the Buddha said it's like a muddied lake. and when the mud settles, things become clear.
Excuse
So
me,
I
I have
think
allergies.
Buddha's simile helps us understand about the nature of the mind. It's like a deep lake, and again, like when the Thich Nhat Hanh says, deeper you dive, less we worry about upsetting waves, and that's the place where you
Hmm.
feel that you have some sense of belonging and clarity and purity in your mind, and you have a choice of directing or redirecting your mind from what is unwholesome to what is wholesome. This is some sort of
Hmm.
um, discrimination, but it's not actually non-judgmental. It is judgmental that
Excuse
you
me.
have to make a sure judgment about where you should be, and redirecting, maybe bringing your awareness to things, or constantly applying your awareness to things that matter to you, and disciplining your mind to be in a certain way unplugged, but also plugged to a deeper sense of being. And so that is what perhaps um, the Buddha meant when
Hmm.
he said, in some other suttas, also some other discourses, he said, when you gradually develop your mind to first, second, third, and fourth jhanas, you can remember things. And in the
Would you
first
say that word again, please?
jhana,
Jhanas?
jhana, Jhana,
Okay, thank you.
um, so jhana is like higher state of mental absorption. The
Okay,
first one, when the Buddha speaks about the first one, he says it is like being free from sensuality and being free from unwholesome states. You enter and abide in the first jhana, and there is pleasure, happiness, and pleasure born from seclusion. So this seclusion is seclusion from sensual sense faculties.
hmm.
And being there, one is able to open the door to the second jhana. That second jhana is born from stillness. That
Okay,
and the third one is equanimity, and the fourth one is purified equanimity with mindfulness. So it's it's really vague to someone when they hear it for the first time.
okay, that's good because
Yeah,
I think I mean, I will ponder it later, to
yeah.
be honest with you. Um, but it isn't as much, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not understanding correctly, it isn't about memory, like remembering something,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much as it is expanding your mind to just be more aware, more mindful, more open. Is that what you're saying?
Those
Or
are two
no?
things. That's right. The memory and remembering and being present, or presence is one thing, and then expansion and of being aware is another. Um,
Okay.
and, and that,
That I on the surface understand that.
yeah,
Um,
in
hmm.
being aware, someone may suffer. Someone may also have the opportunity, the option actually to say, as they say, suffering is optional, and when you are aware, that you can just notice that, oh, this painful feeling is present here, and I feel it in my heart, and I wonder what that is teaching me. So that is some level of awareness. And on the other hand, trying to remember things, remember names of people, is a skill that is useful for people,
Everything.
for everything actually. Yeah, to know this person's name, it surprises them that we remember them. Everybody likes when we remember their names, and
Yep.
so people have
And
some.
things about them. Yeah,
Yeah, right. It's important as a monk to remember people's names when they
I'm
visit us
sure.
continuously. Sometimes we kind of feel we like sometimes we have to learn many names as they come and go. Sometimes we only meet them once, but if we know that if we meet some people every day, we do tend to remember their names. But sometimes I may meet someone today, and 3 years later I will meet that person again, and the ability to remember their name will be such a good thing.
Oh,
uh,
I have experience with that because
right.
the type of work I did, I would meet maybe 2,000 people a year for
Wow.
seeing if they could be part of the department I worked for.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will still see people on the street if I'm in
Right.
Boston. And
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at what I can remember,
Right.
but it, I know that it matters to people, and I'm not perfect
Yeah.
at it at all. And the further you get away from it, in a way,
Yeah.
I don't do that kind of intensity anymore, but
Right.
I understand that feeling. And
Yeah.
I like this. One of the things I like best about showing up with you to meditation is I I don't lean towards the afterlife. That's
Hmm.
just not who I am. But have an open mind. I've learned a lot from it. It gives me things to think about and
Yeah.
ponder. And, um, but definitely the meditation part of it, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I can clear my head
Hmm.
away. Sometimes I don't feel as relaxed. It's not
Hmm.
anything in my head,
Hmm.
but like today, I just it
Hmm.
was like I was in a trance. And I have to be honest with you, it was very helpful. I've had two very close deaths in the
Oh,
past
I'm so sorry.
month,
Hmm.
and also their peer age, as opposed to someone's parents or
Hmm.
my own parents.
Yeah.
And it's just adjusting to this is going to be something that's going to happen more frequently. When you get to be 70, then there's going to be more of this.
Yeah.
And just trying to, and I think so much of it is what ties into what you're talking about and have been talking about finding your mind to be open enough to get as much positive as you can
Hmm.
from the experiences. And that's very helpful. But I have to say, for today, it was just particularly helpful. I was able to clear my head very quickly, and I appreciate that.
That reminded
Okay,
me of this quote I saved for Saturday, actually, but I like to read it for you.
that would be great.
What you shared about, some element of sometimes people take years to grieve things, losses, and that how when especially your peers and the news of it lands in your
Yeah,
ears, it kind of opens a wound that you don't know how or when it will be closed. And this quote kind of speaks to that. It says, "I hope you believe that you can still make a beautiful life for yourself, even if you lost many years of it to grief or darkness or a wound that wouldn't close." Some
it's
people,
an interesting comparison, I think, in
yeah,
some ways, because it heals over, but it lingers.
it is the inevitable and the mysterious way that it kind of keeps visiting our minds. Uh,
Mine
how,
is very simple. I end up like my sister and I will talk about this. I miss my parents sometimes.
mm,
And now my father has been dead for over 30 years, but it's, and yet what's reassuring to both she and I, who are different, but have very similar foundation, is it really is everything that's come before. The
mm,
relationship you have,
yeah,
the times you remember to do,
Mhm.
not the times you think you'll do later. And that's a, broad stroke, but is I want, when I get taken by surprise and then my feelings are hurt that somebody is dead, that I'm not wishing, that I should have, I wish I could have. I think we have to realize that the time to say things to people is when they're alive,
Mhm.
to say that you love them, to say, get
Yeah.
your mind in a place of none of us are perfect. And people are doing the best they can, and sometimes myself at the top of the list, it's not good enough for that day anyway. And then, taking the good with the bad. And I like that kind of life, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
like, and I like that.
Yeah.
But what's odd,
Reminding,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Please continue.
no, reminding people that this moment we have with somebody, especially if it is with your parents, is perhaps a memory that that you will revisit maybe some 20 years later, and you don't even realize how precious that is until
Yep.
after.
Yeah, and I work towards recognizing it when it's happening.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing process. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it by any means, but that's a priority to me because um, I have a lot of the same friends that I've had since I was young, even though we
Hmm.
don't live in the same
Hmm.
places.
Yeah.
And that's a long history in your mind. Remember, it's like, how did
Yeah.
we get to this point that now they're dead?
Yeah.
Um, you
Right.
know, and but in some ways it's reassuring to me at
Yeah.
the same time is
Right.
we have had nice lives together.
Yeah.
I just would have liked it to have been longer.
I know. Right.
And that's the wound part. It's
Right.
covered a little bit by that reassurance. Thank you. This was a
You're welcome. Yeah. So good to see you again. And
yes, thank you. And I think you solved all my problems. I now understand that in each of the calendar things